What's going on, everybody? Brick Builder here, and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Super Survival. Today is also the final episode of Minecraft Super Survival. Yes, I said that correctly. Today is the finale and Shader's World Tour of the Super Survival world. Now, some of the focuses when we were making this world were really just towns and making a fully immersive and very immersion-based and centered world. So I think we've really succeeded in that goal, and because we have, I think now is such a perfect time to wrap up the series, being as we've done 25 episodes at this point. We've spent the last 25 episodes doing some crazy stuff, talking about some crazy topics, whether that be tragedy or if YouTube's a real job, etc. We've been doing some crazy stuff, and all this amazing world all started from this little humble abode right here. This little house here we built on our first days in the world. We were struggling to get all this set up without mobs, creepers, or trying to blow us up and all that sort of stuff, but we did very well on making this house, and it was a very nice house, and it was very important because it really set the theme for this entire spawn area here. Then, of course, eventually we got to working on our storage tower here, which is a build that I'm pretty proud of because I'm not really great at building towers, and I think this one came out fairly well. But it's a very nice storage tower with tons of different stuff in it. And we never even got to using the entire top floor here, but I do think that it's a very nice looking tower, and I like that it's on this little private island. I think it's a little bit very cool. We've also worked on this bridge, which is another huge thing that honestly looks really good, but it's so basic, so it was great. And then this little design here, this little builder's technique that I developed was using the fence gate in between the cobblestone and the fence. It was really like a new concept to me, and I used it. Down here we have our handy dandy mine, and we did a lot of mining throughout the world. Over here we have our dock. We have a dock there, a dock there, and a dock there. We also have the boat out here, which is another thing I'm proud of. It's very small, but I do like the small size of the boat. I've never built a smaller boat before in Minecraft, so having this being built was just another thing that showed that I, can actually manage to build, which was fairly cool in my opinion, because I was definitely new to building boats at that point. And then another thing we worked on early on throughout the series is we had to get this farm set up. This farm is very small, but honestly it suited our needs very well. And as you can tell, we have a ton of extra seeds here, and I've also multiple times burned when we have had excess seeds. I just would take the entire chest and just burn them all in lava. Then over here we have our massive quantity of cows. There's just so many cows in here. If you look at the entity count, it's through the roof of the quantity of cows. Like, literally, these things are insane. Like, if you jump in here, you can't even get out. It's that insane. Another thing we worked on was this little well here, kind of out of place, but I think that's what makes it so nice. Is we have this very big well just thrown in the corner here, which I like quite a bit. We've also got our AFK fishing farm, which allowed us to get such a massive quantity of books so quickly throughout the world, and we have so many chests down here. Although this did take us a bit of time because we were goofballs and didn't realize this whole glass mechanic, we did our best working on that, and we think it came out fairly well. And now to hide the AFK fishing farm, I developed this staircase here. This staircase is useful for two purposes. A, it's a retaining wall for this mountain so it could be steep. B, it allows us to get up the mountain, which is where a big segment of the town here, the spawn village, is. And then also it's just a storage area for our AFK fishing farm. And then yet another build that we worked on very early on over here is the enchanting hut. This is our enchanting house, and it's a very nice little house that's very far away. Our initial thoughts were to keep this further away from everything else, so that way the mobs would not blow up this place. But I can tell you, mobs have blown up this place a few times, and I have actually had to make a few enchanting tables because they have gotten destroyed in the process, like the bookshelves and all that sort of thing. Now, another thing that we've also worked on is over here, our slightly different build. We built a guard tower, and inside the guard tower is our nether. Now, speaking of the nether, we didn't really fully flourish our nether as some of my other worlds have, but we have done some fairly cool stuff with it that are pretty basic, but I still like it. It's very basic here. Just throw up some granite on the walls, and then down here we've got our mesa, which is a few 100 nether blocks away. I'm not going to be going to the Mesa in this episode just because I never built anything there. So I just don't see a point in going. But the Mesa was definitely important to getting us some materials that we definitely needed, specifically for one project, which we'll get to in just a little bit. Then, over here, we just built a nice little house just to add some space. We started to furnish it out, but we never really finished it. But that is okay, because we never really use that house, to be honest. And over here, we have our armory. It was really just a place we could use some leather and also talk a bit about some different things that we wanted to discuss throughout that episode, which was quite convenient and quite useful, I think. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to head on over to some of the other builds we've done. And yes, we've still had Enderman damage throughout the world, which is definitely a thing we have to worry about. Now, speaking of, the world download will be in the description down below. If you do want to download the world, I highly recommend it. It's very fun. There's so many resources in here. And if you continue to work on this world and start developing it more or developing further, send me pictures on Twitter or Discord, and I will definitely take a look at them and let you know what I think. Because I do think that some better builders can come in here, really revamp the world, or even just play in it. If you want to come check it out, you totally can as well. But this is our two-story little viewing platform, which realistically didn't work out very well for us because it wasn't high enough for what we needed. So we eventually made something that was more suitable for our needs. Next, another thing that we worked on towards the end, this is one of the most recent projects we've been doing, is the Arcane Tower here. This is a pretty big project, and although it doesn't look like much, it took us a little bit of time to really settle down and get working on it. It was not the easiest project, despite the fact that it is a very simplistic style build. Now, it is still dark in some places, so we do have to be careful of the creepers, because this place did get blown up a few times, which is another thing. Oh, there's been lots of explosions. A big thing with this is we have this giant ball of lava and other lava-like blocks up here. It is our Arcane Tower, so we need to have some sort of fire or magic element, and that just suited very well for us there. And also, it does allow you to really kind of pinpoint the spawn very easily because it's very high up. And then what we also have done around this place is we built this dock around here while us talking about if YouTube is a real job. So if you do want to check out that video, you totally can. I do strongly recommend it. So that is yet another thing that you can discuss and see throughout the world. If you ever want to go back and rewatch the series, the playlist is something on my channel that you can view. Now, another thing we worked on before we get over here into our merchant village, another thing we worked on very early on throughout the series is something that I need to show, and it was really important towards the lore element of why we actually had to add a merchant village. So, what we made over here is we have built ourselves a bandit cave. I tend to build these in my worlds, but this was my most favorite version of the bandit cave I've ever made, complete with a nether portal and just a very nice interior with lots of variation and a gold pile. But so the lore behind this is the bandits are people here who are sort of cavemen or primitive, but they steal from caravan traders or horse riders when they come. So, you know, they can, like, the traders come over this mountain, they get here, and then they get killed. That was kind of the lore behind this area, which was important. We also made it possible so that way there's a river to get between the two by making this area here be dug out, because we wanted the bandits to have people to have to slay out. So we divided the area over here from our spawn village and the merchant village. By having a merchant village, it just really created an ability to have the bandits have some people to really slay out. So we've built things such as these merchant shacks, which are very easy, these little trading stalls, and they don't really contain any items, but they are still there for the aesthetic. Yet another build we worked on is the next enchanting area. This was yet another one. And we were going to initially put books in here, but we never used our AFK fishing farm enough that we really needed to throw any books inside those chests, because eventually we were never going to have to book those chests over here, so we just never did. Next, we have our little bit of a campfire situation here. Just a nice, small, little detailed build, which I like a very large amount. Then we have the inn over here, which is a build where I really wanted to go for a very messy interior. As you can see, this interior is very full, and that was something that I really wanted to play around with, was really test how everything works when everything is so much more full and so much more tightly spaced. And I think we did a fairly good job on it. So I'm fairly proud of this build. It's probably one of my favorite interiors that I have worked on throughout the series of Super Survival. Next, over here, we have our giant storage cabin over here, which we never actually ended up using throughout the world because we never ended up moving over to the merchant village permanently. But that was definitely a thing that we have. If you ever want to store the goods that the merchants produce, you definitely can. And I do think that is a quite convenient thing that you can use if you want to. Now there are some other things in the world, like we do have the docks over here, and then we have one final project that we worked on throughout the 25 episodes, which doesn't really correlate with anything else in the world. It was just a build that I wanted to try because we've been building so rustic and medieval realistically throughout the world that I needed to take a little bit of a break, and I had to try a different building style. Because that's something that's very important, is whenever you get two set in one building method, it's important that you change it up just so that way your building skills get to develop and you don't get, too tightly packed in one style. So I came out over here across the river and I made one little modern beach house because I figured who doesn't want their home away from home? So I made a beach house here and it's got a modern design. I would really love to see if some of you guys were to make this area into a full-on village, but it would be very cool to see that. But we worked on this. We have a giant quantity of sugarcane which we moved from around the little humble abode first house, and we moved it all around here, although we never realistically needed sugarcane outside of those two enchant tables, so it never got used. But this is our modern beach house here. It looks fairly nice on the coastal plain desert here of that. We use this area to harvest up sand a few times whenever we needed glass or just some easy XP. See, we have some sand over here though. That is definitely the thing. We also got a few cactus and a little bit of stone as well. Also another portal connecting this over to that. And all the nether portals are connected up to different areas in the world, so you can use the nether for transportation. But inside here, fairly basic. You've got the little tracks of sand that the miner must have left. And we got this mob-proof door here that only players can walk through without actually opening. I think that's pretty cool, although skeletons have shot me through this, so just stand over here if you're going to go AFK inside of this build, because you definitely don't want to die. Although, if you look at my statistics, these are my statistics. I've played in this world for over 72 hours, and a big thing that I am really proud of is number of deaths. 0. I think that's pretty cool that I've never gotten a death throughout the world. I think that's pretty impressive, and I'm pretty happy with that. But overall, that's been my world of the Minecraft Super Survival series. I do hope you guys enjoyed this series. I definitely have. I had a lot of fun building in this style and really focusing more throughout the series on building with a overall theme and working really on developing a central spawn. Because generally in my worlds, I've spread everything so far out that you can never see it all at once. So I'm really proud that everything in this world really flows and works together. I'm really happy for all of you guys who supported the series, and I'm thankful for that every single day. So I do appreciate that. But that is going to be the end of the Minecraft Super Survival series. Thanks so much for watching, and I definitely will do other survival series in the future. Now, a big thing that some people might want if they come in the world is my tools and my armor. So, if you want all of that, there will be the chest with all of that thrown in one of the buildings around the world. So you're going to have to explore if you want to get my god set of stuff. So let me know if you guys find it and where you found the chest. Remember, the download to the world is in the description. But I'll see you guys in another episode on my series YouTube channel. So thank you so much for watching Super Survival, guys, and hopefully you enjoyed the world tour. But my name has been Brick Builder, and I will see you in another episode of any other series on my channel. Thanks so much for supporting me throughout Super Survival. Bye!